I'm Captain Pankaj Pahil. For the past 17 years, I've trained pilots across the globe and guided students through the rigors of the DGCA syllabus. Every safe landing begins hours before the engines start. A flight's safety is directly determined by the quality of the data the pilot uses to prepare. When a pilot enters route parameters into the flight management system, they are trusting that the coordinates, altitudes, and frequencies are flawless. That trust relies on the Aeronautical Information Service, or AIS. ICAO defines AIS as the body responsible for ensuring the continuous flow of data necessary for global air traffic management. In the past, this meant referencing paper charts. Today, technologies like area navigation and performance-based surveillance require AIS to function as a digital backbone. If that data is outdated or incorrect, the aircraft's automation will perfectly execute a flight path directly into restricted or highly dangerous airspace. To manage this massive flow of information, states delegate specific publishing duties. In India, there is a strict dividing line between operational data and administrative data. This graphic illustrates that division. On the left, the Airports Authority of India provides all operational publications, like the AIP and NOTAMs. On the right, the DGCA is highly restricted. They only issue aeronautical information circulars for administrative matters. Remember, DGCA handles the AICs. Knowing the publisher tells you immediately whether you are reading a legally binding operational procedure from the AAI or an administrative advisory from the DGCA. All of this operational and administrative data is organized into a standardized suite called the Integrated Aeronautical Information Package, or IAIP. By strict regulatory definition, the IAIP consists of exactly 6 elements. First is the AIP, which holds permanent information. Next to it is the AIP Amendment Service, which provides the regular updates to that permanent manual. The third element is the AIP Supplement, utilized for temporary changes that will persist for a long duration. The fourth pillar covers immediate, short-notice alerts, NOTAMs, and the pre-flight information bulletins. Finally, we have the Aeronautical Information Circulars and the checklists and summaries that help pilots track all active notices. This specific list of 6 is heavily tested on the DGCA exam. When asked to identify the components of the AIP, you must select the option that explicitly lists both NOTAMs and pre-flight information bulletins. Many candidates fail because they choose an option that omits the PIB. These 6 elements form a complete picture. Missing even one means you are operating with fractured data, compromising the safety of the flight. Let's look inside the primary element, the AIP. It is the basic source for permanent information, and it is divided strictly into 3 parts. Part 1 is General, or GEN. This contains national regulations, measurement tables, and an overview of broad services like communications and meteorology. Part 2 is En route, or ENR. Here you will find airspace classifications, ATS routes, and navigation warnings for restricted areas. Part 3 is Aerodromes, or AD. This holds airport-specific details, such as runway lighting, taxiway layouts, and refueling limitations. There is a specific DGCA question regarding meteorological information that routinely catches students off guard. While overall meteorological services live in Part 1 Gen, the detailed description of the specific Met Office responsible for a given aerodrome is located in Part 3 AD. Because aviation is global, updates to this permanent AIP data must be synchronized worldwide. This is done through the AIROC system. AIROC stands for Aeronautical Information Regulation and Control. It mandates that premeditated, significant changes to operations only take effect on common dates, spaced at intervals of exactly 28 days. To meet that effective date, the AIS unit must distribute the paper copy information at least 42 days in advance. This lead time ensures the objective that recipients actually have the information in their hands 28 days before the change goes live. This 28-day cycle prevents operational chaos. It guarantees that a pilot departing Tokyo and an air traffic controller in Delhi are executing flight plans based on the exact same mathematical reality. But what happens when an ILS fails overnight, or a runway requires immediate construction? The system needs tools for changes that cannot wait for a 28-day AIRAC cycle. The first tool is the AIP supplement. Supplements are used strictly for temporary changes that will last 3 months or longer. They are also used for short-duration changes that require extensive text or complex graphics. The second tool is the NOTAM, or Notice to Airmen. NOTAMs are issued for temporary information of short duration, or when operationally significant changes occur with too little warning to publish a supplement. To prevent the system from being overwhelmed with trivial data, minor events, like routine maintenance on an apron that does not affect aircraft movement, must never be issued as a NOTAM. Understanding this distinction gives a pilot context. A supplement indicates a planned, long-term adjustment to the airport, while a NOTAM signals a sudden, immediate condition. Sometimes these tools overlap. When a new AIP supplement is published, a trigger NOTAM reminds pilots in their pre-flight briefing that an operationally significant change is about to take effect. All active NOTAMs and urgent updates are compiled into the Pre-Flight Information Bulletin, or PIB. This is the final consolidated document a pilot reviews before stepping into the cockpit. The AIS loop doesn't end at takeoff. After landing, the pilot has a crucial responsibility to report any unserviceable aids or hazards observed during the flight directly back to the authorities. The AIIP translates abstract regulatory requirements into the actual mathematical reality of the airspace. Mastering these classifications is required to clear your DGCA exams. More importantly, it ensures that once you are in the right seat, you are making decisions based on facts, protecting your aircraft and your passengers. Keep studying and fly safe.